The biggest ticket in town here at ECU. Pirates hosting North Carolina. It's been a battle of pitching in Game 1 on Saturday. Game 2, the bats came to play. And so for Cliff Godwin, who's 1 win shy of 400 here in his Pirate tenure, he goes with a young arm. 20 freshmen on this Pirate team. Bradley Zayak, maybe their highest rated recruit, gets the ball. Was really good in his debut. 3 in the third innings, Mike. How did they get more out of that today from Bradley?
You know, it's one of those things. The 3 in the third win that outing in Game 2 against George Mason, where he was very effective, 1 walk over his outing there. And quite honestly, if he ran out of pitches before he was ineffective, it was one of the deals where early in the season, everybody's kind of counting pitches and making sure guys stay healthy. So, yeah, Zayak's a guy that will compete on the mound. Again, a true freshman. Really good stuff, 3-pitch guy. You'll see him get it into the low to mid-90s. And, again, a guy who, to this point at least, has shown the ability to command the zone and work himself ahead with hitters.
That ECU pitching staff that replaces over 70% of its innings from a year ago. Big task for Austin Knight, the pitching coach. That hasn't been the problem for the Pirates this year. Meanwhile, for Carolina, a slow start offensively in terms of power from last year's College World Series team. But Alex Madera moves from second to short, brings a lot of stability to this offense.
You know, 2 key things happened in yesterday's game. Luke Stevenson got hot, right? The home run, the first 3-run job. And then 2 big parts of that offensive lineup for Carolina kind of figured it out.
11 runs in yesterday's game for Coach Scott Forbes. This was a series the Pirates won 2-3 a year ago. Carolina's clinched the series yesterday. You look at this lineup and a lot of new faces for East Carolina. Dixon Williams, Kobe Wallace, the returners. They like Peltier's speed in center. He made a great diving catch in Chapel Hill. And then Walker Barron, the first-year starter behind the plate.
You know, a few things stand out to be there, Ev. Alex Peltier yesterday had the best day to have nothing to show for it. Had 3 balls he hit really hard, no hits on the day. Walker Barron has put together really tough at-bats. He, too, had the big home run. And then it's going to be really interesting to see what Dixon Williams can kind of cobble together as he tries to bring his season back on track.
This place is ready to rock and roll tonight. Warm temperatures, which is always good news. No snow in the forecast. And a Pirate team that's been desperate for a good performance. They lost their midweek last week against Campbell. Showing some great signs on the mound. As Cliff Godwin noted yesterday, really good at-bats in the first 2 games of the series. Still looking to get healthy. One of the top returning starters. Riley Johnson still making his way back in the outfield, but this young Pirate roster, they're trying to find their form here in Game 3.
You know what's funny, as you mentioned, no snow in the forecast, and people that don't follow Eastern North Carolina weather closely are going, man, has he lost his mind? It has been terrible here, and we are so happy. Matter of fact, the reason we're playing on Monday night is this was a skating rink on Friday.
Good news, no ice skating, no Four Nations Cup, but it feels that way when a Carolina and an East Carolina team get after it. Now let's get this party started. Kane Kepley leads things off for Coach Scott Forbes. And here's Bradley Zayak's first pitch. He can touch the mid-90s at times with that heater. Very effective against George Mason. And faces a good bat in Kepley, who was All-Conference USA a year ago at Liberty, transferring in.
Yeah, he was one that when Scott Jackson came over, he was not going to leave him behind to make sure to bring him with him. Kepley is an absolute spark plug in this lineup, plays a great center field, and has been a guy that has done some things for these Heels.
First out.
You know, that's an underappreciated play, Ev. That ball gets up. You got a little bit of wind swirling. We've seen it more out to right than anything. But moreover, you got the high sky and the big sun over there. Irby does a nice job to battle it and corral the first out. It's
all about the Oakleys. Whenever they look good with the Pantone colors, it's very important. Speaking of colors, how about these Carolina blue road outfits for the Tar Heels? First true road game of the year for Scott Forbes' club. And Alex Madera, the veteran captain at shortstop, takes strike 1. Madera, a neat path in his grad year from Arcadia. He was an All-American at the D3 level his last 3 years. And then last year at Carolina, consistent starter at second base. Fills some huge shoes of Colby Wilkerson, the All-ACC shortstop. But Madera's done a great job, not only defensively, but anchoring this order. Zayak's 1-1. We'll test him up and in.
You know, you see it with Madera, and again, we mentioned Bass earlier, where the Heels are not afraid to bring up a high-achieving Division III or lower Division tier program player into their program, and it's paid huge dividends.
Well, that mirrors Scott Forbes' resume from NC Wesleyan, and of course the longtime assistant here at Carolina, takes the job last year as the full-time coach. He gets the Tar Heels back to Omaha.
A Hall of Famer at North Carolina Wesleyan.
Great point. The Battling Bishops, if you're watching, good perspective. Here's the 3-1. They were just late on that one after a 2-run and a hit performance yesterday. There's Coach Forbes anchoring the third base line. 48 wins a year ago for the Tar Heels. One of the better first-year coaches. Granted, a long-time assistant, but
throw them and let them hit it where they are. And Dixon Williams in perfect position. You know, a big part of the conversation, and always something I get asked a lot about, is how East Carolina and Carolina, a lot of the college teams play the shift. And how many times it gets beat as opposed to how many times it's hit right into. There's an example of Dixon Williams standing right on the X and catches the line drive hit right at him.
Williams grew up right here in Greenville, North Carolina. There's a handful of players from both teams that have Pitt County ties, and we'll touch on that tonight. It's not just an interstate matchup, it is an inter-city battle here in Greenville, North Carolina. And this is Luke Stevenson, the standout catcher, a possible first-round pick coming up in the summer. And a name you keep your eye on in this ACC conference. Jacob Ferenz of Virginia, and then Luke Stevenson, two of the best behind the dish in the ACC. Zayak challenges with 92 and gets ahead 0-2.
You know, if you circle a guy, as far as the Pirates go, you circle a guy in the Tar Heel lineup, like, hey, we're not going to let this guy beat us. Luke Stevenson's going to be that guy, like you said, depending on who you talk to, could be a top 5 overall pick, definitely a first or high second round pick, but a really, really talented player.
Zayak goes heat and stays up. We noted the lack of power for the Tar Heels this year, just one home run. Well, Luke, he kicked things off with a 3-run shot yesterday, helping Carolina secure an 11-6 win. They earned the series last night. And here's the 1-2. First look at the changeup there for Zayak.
You know, the big push for Stevenson going into this year was to cut down on some of the swing and miss. And yesterday's home run was a breaking ball with 2 strikes that you could tell it was a reactionary type situation where he wasn't going to let the fastball beat him. Got out a little bit in front of the breaking pitch, but hit a line drive out to right field.
The at-bat continues on 1-2. And this has been a bugaboo for the Pirates, pitching in the zone with 2 strikes, having some high pitch counts the last 2 games.
Yeah, yesterday, 9-10 walks in that game. And, you know, baseball's such a cruel sport. Your hitters finally show up and your pitchers let you down a little bit. So trying to find the middle ground today.
Austin Knight's pitching staff was among the top 25 in the country in ERA and K to walk ratio a year ago. But we noted over 75% of those innings, first-round pick Trey Savage gone. Second starter Zach Root now in the SEC. There's some big shoes to fill. A lot of confidence in this true freshman Zayak on 3-2. Stays up and the inning continues.
You know, when one of the most frustrating things in the world for a coach and a team is a 2-out walk, right? A 2-out freebie. You'd rather let them hit their way home. That one gets up and away. And, you know, the trend with college baseball right now, Ev, is the top of the zone, right? They look at spin rate and how does that affect where pitches are thrown. So the top of the zone is where you'll see a lot of these guys try to collect those outs. That one just got away from Zayak and missed a little arm side high.
So the inning continues with 2 outs. Tyson Bass, who's part of a loaded class of transfers following a long-time history of his head coach, Scott Forbes, another battling Bishop, NC Wesleyan player coming in. A grad transfer right here in the state of North Carolina. Zayak to the plate and a swing and a miss from Bass, the starting right fielder tonight for Carolina.
You know, with Bass, big power numbers last year, 21 or 22 home runs, I don't remember exactly, but could run the ball out of the park, takes a big swing. The positive for him is yesterday we saw him hit 2 balls to the right side, which is an improvement in the approach.
He had 48 career home runs in his D3 career at NC Wesleyan. He takes a slider low and away. This is a Carolina team that a year ago was pretty aggressive, 83 steals on the bases. Scott Forbes likes the situational hitting of this year's team, not as power-driven with the Vance Honeycutts, the Casey Cooks of the world, but a little more situational. Just 1 home run in these first 2 games. As the 1-1 goes past Zayak, Williams in position to end the inning. 1 walk and a man left on in the Young Arms debut here in Greenville. East Carolina to the plate when we return on ESPN+. A new arm coming in after a great junior season. Aiden Hawk gets the ball for the Tar Heels. He was the 16th round pick for the Twins, elected to return for his final season. Largely a bullpen arm a year ago and now inserted into the starting role.
Yeah, Hawk, another one of these guys that the Tar Heels just keep rolling them out there, right? Quality starter after quality starter that have gotten just enough seasoning to not be considered quote-unquote new guys, right? So, I mean, Hawk's another one of these guys, super high-profile arm that seems like the Tar Heel bullpen is just full of.
DeCaro did his part earlier in the series, and then Jake Knapp got the ball yesterday. Hawk gets the ball after a good outing, 3 innings and a doubleheader sweep. How can you not love Valentine's Day baseball? 14 innings and 2 wins over a nice Big 12 program.
Well, you know, what a luxury to be able to run Folger Boaz out of your bullpen, and he comes in yesterday and just basically shuts the door on the Pirates, pitched extremely well. So, you know, a guy that was a weekend front end of the rotation kind of guy a year ago before having a little arm issue. But, yeah, like I said, you know, this Hills club just keeps rolling them out there.
That's the arm for Scott Forbes lineup. And here's Cliff Godwin starting 9. We noted just 2 returners. Dixie Williams, a big part of that. And a good start for Keenan Bowman, getting the left field position tonight for the Pirates.
You know, you see up there the 250 average, and that's one of the most tainted numbers in all of baseball, maybe in all of sports, batting average. Again, the guy leading off here, Alex Peltier, true freshman center fielder, can really run, is a good player, and absolutely scorched 3 balls yesterday with nothing to show for it. On the QAB chart, he shows up as a hero. As it relates to the scoreboard, he's a 0.
To your point, it's been an up-and-down offensive series for the Pirates. Shutout on Saturday. Put up 6 runs and have some chances late to tie that game in Chapel Hill, but fell 11-6. Now we get things started with a swing and a miss on 93 from Hawk.
I'm sure Peltier's thinking, listen, I'm due for like 3 cheapies today, like an infield single, maybe a little, duck fart over the second baseman's head, something. I'm due a break.
Like any Cliff Godwin lineup, it's loaded with 7 hit-by pitches, 16 walks in the first 6 games. This Pirate team was top 10 in the country and getting plunked a year ago. It's part of the DNA of the Cliff Godwin program. So a leadoff man on for East Carolina. An East Carolina offense that would love to get Riley Johnson back, making his way from a shoulder injury. And looking to fill some voids offensively. Here's where Kalinick could play a factor. That one stays high.
Yeah, Kalinick, another freshman out of Florida, catcher. Look at just carries himself at the plate like a guy that's a little bit older than he is. And in times past, we would fully expect to see a Cliff Godwin-led offense lay a bunt down here. Seems to be allowing a little more free swinging this year to see if they can create the bigger inning.
Kalinick takes strike 1. Michael in the DH role for an offense that through 6 games hasn't found its stride just yet. That's a lot of teams in college baseball going through these early phases. Hawk to the plate. Good scoop by Stevenson back there.
To your point about early college offense, it seems to have either been feast or famine for a lot of teams. We've seen a 17-run inning. We've seen William and Mary score 22 and get run ruled. So it's kind of up and down. Typically this time of the year, pitching dominates hitting.
And we saw Maryland Eastern short snap a 55-game losing streak this weekend.
Yeah, congratulations.
Townsend. Great for that program to get back in the win column. An RBI double for Kalinick early in this series. He's 2 for 8 thus far. That body type, that left-handed approach, that is prototypical of a Cliff Godwin offense. As his throw is scooped out by Hunter Stokely.
Yeah, had Peltier leaning a little bit. He kind of took a little double step to make his way back to first base. So, this, again, although they're not bunting, fully expect anything at any time with this Pirate club.
Another pick to first. And unlike the pro game, you could have unlimited attempts over there. 73 steals a year ago for this Pirate offense. That's where Riley Johnson's impact will be missed tonight. 23 steals. Time assistant Jeff Palumbo working the third base bag tonight, his 11th year. He's been every step of the way with Cliff Godwin, who's 1 win away from 400 in his Pirate tenure. With a sold-out crowd, that makes for even more interesting storylines with a number 5 team in the country coming to town. Now it's Austin Irby, the first baseman, as he takes one inside. First inning, nobody out. Does small ball play a factor?
Well, I was sitting here thinking this is, when you're down there at third base, you got no outs. You're thinking first and third's kind of the red zone of football, right? You gotta score here, and you'd like to find a way to get a couple. So we'll see what they do.
Good strike response from Hawk, who was very efficient in just 50 pitches in those 3 innings last Friday on Valentine's Day.
I'll tell you the other thing that figures in, Irby's got a little juice to the pull side, and you got that flag kind of pushing out to right. Kind of a small park out there tonight in right field.
Yeah, 15-mile-an-hour gusts going to right as that slider stays down. No swing, says third base umpire Joe Holt today. Because those shadows right now are brutal for a hitter.
Yeah, Irby, another one of those really talented freshmen. You see, not even close there, and Tar Heels were hoping to buy a strike there. But Irby, another one of those really talented guys that just seems to be kind of growing up right in front of us. And again, he's a guy that can leave this park in a hurry.
The true freshman off the...
If you're playing golf, you go, well, that's as good as a good one. He gets it off the end of the bat, just enough to stay out of the double play, advance the runner second, and score.
In this series for East Carolina. But an important start for a team that does live on small ball situational hitting. A program that replaces 7 starters from a year ago, including the power of Carter Cunningham, a 17-home run hitter. Jacob Jenkins-Coward, a Player of the Year caliber outfielder. And Dixon Williams, the one returner with a big swing and a miss.
The Hills have pitched Dixon in all series, and the catcher was set up away. Stevenson and got across the plate, but it seems that has been their philosophy to this point. Let's see if they'll stay with it.
Now the 0-1 to the Greenville native Dixon Williams, who stays up. His biggest swing in a Pirate uniform was right here in a similar matchup. Regional play against Wake Forest, hit one over the scoreboard against Chase Burns, knocked him out of the game. And the Pirates eliminated Wake in that regional. He sits in now with a 174 clip, awaiting this pitch. As Hawk misses up.
Little cat and mouse here. First pitch, again, missed the spot in, and now they've gone up and away twice. Let's see where they go at Dixon. I know he'd love to break out.
A difficult 15 pitches early for senior arm Aiden Hawk, who goes change up that time to change it up.
And if you're Scott Forbes and the staff of the Tar Heels, you still have to respect the pop that Dixon Williams does have. We've seen him hit a ball top of the scoreboard. We've seen him hit a ball over the hitter's eye, so some legitimate pop in the bat.
Williams stays inside. It's a 3-2 count. To your point, 9 career home runs for the junior hitter, who's the top-ranked draft prospect among juniors here in the American Conference. 5,000.
If he's going to stay with it, right, you'll take it all night, but it's got to be there for both sides.
Here's Keenan Bowman, redshirt freshman coming in, who did not play during his first year. Takes a slider for a strike.
Yeah, he's one of these Pirates, a multifaceted kind of the Swiss Army knife kind of guy, like we like to say, but he's a guy that has played infield and outfield, playing more outfield this year.
Hawk on 0-1, nibbles the top of the zone. One area for the Tar Heels has been efficient innings in the first 6 games for UNC. Right now, though, Hawk in a bit of trouble. 20 pitches and counting.
I was wondering if he was going to try that low strike out there again, just see if plate umpire will give it to him. That one a little too far off.
Kalinich with good speed at second. And now Bowman in a bit of a hole. Did he go on that slider? Looks like no, according to Sanders. 2-out hits have been a bugaboo of ECU in this series. They've stranded 20 runners in the first 2 games.
We go back to last year, that was their calling card. The damage they did with 2 outs was incredible.
Led the AAC in 2-out hits last year over Phil. To Greenville, North Carolina, Scott Forbes with a long tenure at UNC. 24 seasons with Mike Fox, and now taking over as the ACC Coach of the Year. One thing Carolina's done well is come in via the grad transfer portal, upgrading the roster across the infield, and this team as good as any here at UNC.
You know what they've done, what's very hard to do in the modern day of college athletics, and they've managed to get old and stay old through either, homegrown products or through acquisitions, for lack of a better way to put it. But one of the really, really good guys in the game, Coach Scott Forbes.
78% of the offense is upperclassmen here for UNC. And it all gets started with Hunter Stokely, who's been scintillating hot on the weekend. 5 for 8. And look at that, son. That is no fun as a hitter here to start the second inning. Exhibit A on that swing.
Yeah, we saw Irby between innings just playing toss, and shortstop goes to throw one over, and Irby just completely loses it in that sun. So hopefully it'll be down behind the trees here shortly, but it is certainly a factor here for this half an inning.
That does not look fun as a hitter or as a defender. We even saw players in warm-up, like first baseman, having trouble seeing the ball coming out from the third base side.
We kind of alluded to it in the open. Stokely is such in just to try to eliminate him getting those arms extended and giving him the opportunity to drive the ball into the left center gap. We saw him do it yesterday numerous times.
And good base running from the Tar Heels.
Yeah, I'm going to be surprised if somebody doesn't go out and kind of calm the young freshman here, not necessarily out of the dugout, but somebody just kind of a little breath of fresh air, because Angelo's another guy that has absolute pop, had 15 home runs last year, and a guy that
and that's not on the catcher. That's a spike pitch.
No, that's right. That's a wild pitch.
Luke McChrystal did a lot of the work back behind the plate a year ago. Pirates have had great success at the catching position in Cliff Godwin's tenure. And Barron, that next generation.
I'll tell you what they have done. They have consistently had really good arms behind the plate, and Barron no exception. And like I said earlier, he's really blossomed himself into a pretty good offense.
Angelo takes outside in a 3-0 count. Sam, part of that pipeline, a D2 transfer, Montclair State, who played his home games at Yogi Berra Stadium. Think about that perspective for an All-American at the D2, D3 level as Montclair moves up to Division II this year.
High School Athletic Association has ratified rules to kind of unify that sport or make it those same level playing field, so that's a up-and-coming sport.
Yeah, girls flag football is a great watch here in the state. We have a quick timeout. Meeting of the pitching staff. Austin Knight, who we noted in year 6, did a fantastic job last year. Top 25 pitching staff. And a quick chat with his young freshman.
And this is that effort to kind of calm him down, see if he can get him a little deeper into this outing. All's not lost. Runners on first and second, no out. But the scary part about that, AB, Ev, is there were very few pitches that were even competitive, kind of, spraying it all over the place. So it's, hey, you got to calm down and, find your stuff again, get back into some type of rhythm. I will tell you, for a young pitcher, this is a very dangerous situation against Vanderbrake from the standpoint of Zayak doesn't want to do anything more than throw a strike right now. In the experience of Vanderbrake at the plate, he knows that he could potentially get a quote-unquote, cookie
right,
to hit here. So we'll watch this one carefully and see if Zayak can get ahead but not give Vanderbrake anything too good.
Defense positioning here, 2 on, nobody out for Jackson Vanderbrake, the elder statesman in the Carolina order. The breaking ball sneaks in for a strike.
Kind of to our point there, if there's a fastball on that same location, Vanderbrake probably gets off a pretty good swing on it. So good pitch there by Zayak.
The Yakima, Washington native, now in year 4. Over 100 starts in his Carolina tenure. And lays off 1-1. His dad was a minor leaguer in the Phillies organization. His brother Jace was fantastic at Gonzaga. His other brother Justin, a standout at Washington State. And here's the most highly tooled of the Vanderbrakes, Jackson, in a 1-1 count. Late on the fastball.
Well, and you know what Vanderbrake means at this club by that Captain C that's on his chest. I mean, he's a guy, again, a senior, kind of a stalwart, has been around the program for a long time, and a guy that they really lean on.
He earned the Iron Ram Award a year ago, the hardest worker by the strength and conditioning staff, overcoming a tough action there for Vanderbrake. You noted his emotional impact. That's a big hit for him. Ruled a single, 3 hits for the Tar Heels early. This is Gavin Gallagher, who smoked a grand slam his first home run as a freshman last year in this ballpark.
Zayak's really struggling right now, controlling the fastball, and it's tough to pitch off of a pitch when you don't have it. You know, that's his bread and butter. He wants to be able to go back to it, but seems to be pulling it more than anything. And that'll get a little action stirring in the Pirate bullpen.
And with ECU using 8 arms yesterday, to your point, getting some inning management is important today for Zayak. Both teams have quick turnarounds. Carolina will play tomorrow and Wednesday, and then ECU will play Old Dominion Wednesday afternoon. Now a 2-0 count.
You know, it really is a fairly consistent miss, Ev. Everything's kind of arm side, like, again, he's just pulling everything. So at some point, you got to make an adjustment. It's kind of like your golf game. If you're missing consistently one way, you can figure out how to play with that, but he's struggling right this second.
Don't put that jinx on me. Now it's a 3-0 count. My driver's still consistent right, so I'll learn to
line up left,
play the tail at the end of my swing. By the way, our producer, Kyle Gaskins, he's got a pretty low handicap down at the local Ironwood Country Club in town. I believe he's in the single digits. He can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm sure he will.
Some early action in the Pirate pen, just in case. That's Brad Pruitt warming up, and now strike one. You'd imagine with the control issues, Gallagher will be very patient here on 3-1. And he's aggressive, fighting that off.
Yeah, might have swung at ball 4 there. Gives him a chance to put the runner at first in motion here, Vanderbrake. With the fact that Zach has been as erratic as he is, you got to feel like it's, you know, ball 4 is a real possibility.
Here's the 3-2. Runners hold.
And off the fist, and slow roller to Dixon at second, and then obviously the Vanderbrake.
A 3-1 start here in Greenville. Here's one of the impact transfers for East Carolina, the Oklahoma Sooner product. By the way, Oklahoma back in the top 20 in the rankings. Great year for the Sooners. Pruitt, a part of that staff a year ago. 10 games out of the bullpen, and he is the top-rated transfer in the American Athletic Conference. Here's the reason why. He's been a strikeout machine in the Pirate Purple. 15 Ks in 6 innings this year.
Yeah, it's that wipeout breaking ball, Ev. He's not afraid to throw it in any count, and it's hard for these hitters to lay off. But, yeah, Pruitt has come in some big situations and been able to get the Pirates out of it. And, again, the only bugaboo is he has struggled at times with command. But, man, when he can get that breaking ball going, he's hard to get to.
It's an ECU bullpen that graduates its top closer, Danny Beal. Another one of its great arms out of the pen as well. And Jake Hunter, who's making his way back. There are a lot of big pieces from a year ago. Wyatt Lunsford, Shankman, an all-AAC closer. But like any team in college baseball, reload, revamp, and Pruitt now in a big spot here in the second inning.
Yeah, you know, the unique nature of it now is you can work the free agent market and pick up some guys, and you may actually get better than what you had before. But Pruitt is a guy who's fit right in here and a guy that the Pirate staff has a lot of confidence in.
Pruitt threw 1 inning on Saturday at the Durham Bulls Park. And unfortunately for the folks out in the jungle there and left, it's been a slow start for the pitching staff in terms of getting quality innings this weekend. So back to the top of the Carolina order. This is Kane Kepley. And there's that breakout pitch to get things started.
But if that crowd out in the jungle is enjoying cocktail hour at the Clark LeClaire Stadium on a Monday evening with a beautiful sunset, it doesn't.
When it's 5 o'clock in baseball paradise, it is a great time to watch the sports.
Doesn't get much better than that.
4th home game of the year and the biggest in terms of opponent and opportunity if you're East Carolina. A series win over George Mason. A good midweek battle with Campbell across the state. And here in this traditional second weekend series, Carolina wins the first 2. More pressure for Kepley, who lays off the splitter. There's a strike.
You know, it's a pretty good matchup for Pruitt. Kepley has proven to be a little bit of a free swinger. We'll see if he throws that spinner at his back foot and can get a swing and a miss.
Here is that 1-2. Right on target, but a good take. A very patient Carolina team through 6 games. Almost 8 walks a contest. That'll test any pitching staff. Here's the 2-2. And just got a piece. Kepley stays alive. Kane was the toughest batter to strike out in Conference USA a year ago alongside his head coach. And now main assistant Scott Jackson, who comes down from Liberty. What a vital weapon, not just the portal, but the familiarity here for this Tar Heel staff. So now the 2-2. And all of a sudden, we've seen a lot of this tonight. Full ball counts.
You know, when into yesterday's game, the Pirates staff have been so good. You mentioned earlier with the ERA and the stats they put up, and just got away from them a little bit. They will have to find a way to settle in tonight to get a chance to win this one. And you're at the most dangerous part of the Tar Heel lineup.
That split finger grip you see from Pruitt. It's a pitch that made Trey Savage millions as a first-round pick of the Blue Jays. He was 20th overall. Let's see what that next generation can do here. As that one touches the zone for strike one.
It's amazing how many pitchers will throw the top half breaking ball. You know, something that used to just be unheard of.
And I think, too, umpires are more willing to give a natural zone, even with these hitters that crunch over or change their perspective.
Yeah, top of the zone's more of a college strike than it would be a pro strike, you know, but
Sports